This week's video is sponsored by absolutely nobody. When somebody's asking you what is your favorite time of the year, what do you answer? I have a perfect answer. That is around this time, mid-March. Why is that? Hey guys, that is because the footy is back. So yes, both of my favorite leagues, both of my favorite sports have their season started just now. Actually, I went to the opening round games in Las Vegas, where National Rugby League sent 4 teams over to play the opening round, and I was so lucky to attend it for the first time. That was an incredible experience. I went over there kind of on a last minute deal. I really thought that I'm not going to make it. It was in my plans, but then things changed, and there was like no freaking way I'm going to make it. So usually in our family is when somebody has the birthday, we usually pick a restaurant, and we go and have a meal and talk and have a family time. So since when my birthday in January happened, my son got sick. My oldest son got sick, so he couldn't come. There was some other things going on, and so it didn't happen. And then my youngest son had the birthday on in February, beginning of the February, and then like a week later, we all had time to go to a restaurant, and we sat down, we start talking or whatnot, like day before my wife asked something about the rugby games, and I was like, man, I'm not gonna get there because first of all, nobody wants to, or not nobody wants to, but nobody have time to go with me, and I kind of did not want it to go by myself. And then my wife offered to my youngest son Michael, say, hey Michael, go with dad. So he's like, oh, I got no spare money, and truth to be told, they're getting married next year. They're trying to save up the money and whatnot. And then my wife was like, we'll pay for you. So basically, she hooked me up, with the hotel room, with the flights, and me and Michael. And all I had to do is just go and grab the tickets. And luckily, I was able to grab pretty decent seats. We were row 8, right at the end zone at Allegiant Stadium, and by far the best stadium I've ever been. And yeah, we flew in a night before. It was Friday night. Went to the Fremont Street, had some fun, hooked up with Australian fans, and it was just amazing time, and yeah, and then the next day we went over, we stayed close to the stadium, and we went in the morning to strip, did all that, then grabbed the cab and went over to Allegiant Stadium. And there were 4 games in total. First was another league, British Super League, sent over 2 teams. One was named Warriors, I believe, and Wolves, and the Warriors won. And we had Warriors fans behind us, man. They were the craziest dudes ever, and every other word was a fucking hell, man. Like fucking hell this, fucking hell that. So the funniest shit was like, I turned around and I was like, asked the guy, I said, how's the UK after Brexit? And the guy like started laughing, and he was like, man, it's a fucking hell, man. It was just so freaking funny. So yeah, we had amazing time. Besides that, my wallet got very thin, and much lighter. Vegas is super expensive, but I do not regret anything about going there. Incredible time. Watch these games, like the second game. Yeah, the first game was for British Super League. Then the second game was New Zealand Warriors against Canberra Raiders. Raiders won that game. And the third game was national teams. Ladies played. Jillaroos from Australia versus Lionesses from England. And I mean, that game was like the crazy blowout. Aussie girls rolled over England. The end result was 90-4, where the England scored the first and only point, like literally at the last second of the game, and it was 90-4. So it was absolutely crazy. And then was the highlight of the day, the main event. Penrith Panthers played Cronulla Sharks. That game was absolutely wonderful. It was so good to see Nathan Cleary in person. He plays for Penrith. So yeah, I mean, I'll never forget that event. And one thing is for sure, next year I can't go there because of all other commitments, but maybe a year after. But I definitely want to go back there again and just spend a little more time, because the events go throughout the week. And we just caught the tail end and went to the games, and we flew back home on Sunday. But yeah, so and today, March 16th, is when AFL kicks off their round one. So it's a perfect time for me to show hats from both leagues. And for AFL, I have these hats, and they have an opening round, and those games were supposed to be last weekend. And what happened was, I mean, there were two games, but two others got canceled because of the freaking cyclone Alfred, which hit the Gold Coast, that area around Brisbane and Gold Coast. And my good friend Lee said, I talked to him a little bit this morning, and he said that from the looks of it, Gabba, that's where the Brisbane Lions play, that stadium probably got spared, but Gold Coast Stadium got flooded, so yeah, they basically canceled two games, and they played two games in Sydney. So yeah, but the main rounds start like today, basically this week. So perfect time for showing these hats from Australia. All of these hats are fitted hats, and then I'll have one hat which is related to Australia, but it's not a fitted hat. So let's kick off this show with showing you NRL hats. And very first hat we're going to look at is St. George Illawarra Dragons. And these hats all are coming from New Era Australia. So they're very, very generic, so to speak. Very nice, plain Janes. So this is a polyester material. But yeah, so nothing on the back. New Era flag. And then you have this nice Dragons shield, their main logo. Then you have here black guts, gray UV, and yeah, these are St. George Illawarra Dragons. This is the Dragons hat. So super nice. I like the red color. Man, Bella is shedding, and no matter what I do, I got these Bella's fur on everywhere. So it's a little annoying. But yeah, cool hat. I didn't have it like so. With all these hats, AFL hats and NRL hats, I finally filled all my gaps. So I have every single team's hat. The only hat which is actually a snapback and not a full fitted, is a Dolphins hat from NRL. You know, for whatever reason they haven't even released one. So, but I have it, like I said, I have it in snapback. So this is the hat number 1. Let's do a quick size check to see how it fits. Hat is made in China. Let's see how this dragon hat looks on me. Fits good. It's maybe a little tight, but I know for sure if I curve, and most likely I'm going to curve it because I wear my NRL and AFL hats because I just love the sport, you know. So yeah, this is the hat number 1, St. George Illawarra Dragons from NRL League. So let's move on to the second hat, and this is Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. This team actually came over last year here to Vegas, and they had a decent season last season. And yeah, this team is actually pretty darn good. Here's the front logo, this plum color crown, gray under, black sweatband. So yeah, cool Manly Warringah Sea Eagles hat. Love this one. Let's try on. This hat fits much better than the previous one. What do you think? I have a good jersey to pair this one with. I got the Sea Eagles jersey. I only missing like 3 teams from NRL. From AFL I got every single team jersey. But yeah. Then the next hat we're gonna be looking at is another National Rugby League team hat, and it is from Gold Coast Titans. This is a Gold Coast Titans hat. Here we go. Yeah, guys, I don't want to push my opinions on anything, you know, but I really, really hope you guys give this sport a chance. If you haven't seen it yet, check on your in your subscriptions or whatever, however you watch your TV or cable or your streaming. If you have Fox Sport 1, Fox Sport 2, they do show both leagues, NRL and AFL. You probably will like NRL a little bit better because it's like closer to NFL. But to me, it's like a million times better. You know, the game flows. There's no commercial interruptions like it is in NFL, where every play is interrupted with some kind of stupid commercial. It's so commercialized here that it's not even funny, and it makes the game not watchable. You know, it's kind of freaking dumb. But give this sport a chance. You know, and I only wish the NFL would, you know, show more of the game, make the game flow instead of these interruptions and dragging it out for hours and hours, you know. And in the rugby league, you know, I mean, these dudes don't wear any pads, no nothing, no helmets, and they hit hard, if not harder than in the NFL. You know, they're like absolutely bananas, you know. Like the last game I watched was Brisbane Broncos. They played Sydney Roosters, you know, and I think it was a guy from Roosters, I believe, yeah. It got his cheekbone, like right here on the cheek, man, split open, you know. It was a head to the cheek, and I mean, it was like about what it would be like 2 inches across right here, and like a split, you know, the blood was everywhere, you know, and then it opened up like a quarter inch, you know, like, do you think the guy went and cried on the sidelines or something like that? Uh-uh. He just wiped everything off like a medical stuff came on, smeared some kind of shit on his cheek, you know, to stop the bleeding, so to speak. It stopped a little bit, but he played till the halftime, you know, when he got all stitched up and he came back and finished the game. That's what I understand. Those guys in Australia, man, I mean, they're tough as nails, man, you know. I love that about them, you know. And to be honest, you know, maybe some Aussies are gonna laugh at me, but what I think, why I personally like Australian sports and in general their culture, their people, is because it was somehow and somewhat like they were isolated a little bit because of where they're at or whatnot. So they were able to preserve and develop their everything around them, and it's so unique. It's different than the rest of the world. You know, it's much better in my opinion. You know, like Aussies will probably say, "No, it's not like that. We have our problems." I do believe you guys have our problems, but versus this bullshit what's going on here, you know, like it's just like, to me it's almost like a day and night, and especially it's visible in the sports where I think Australian sports are pure, you know, and they're, I mean, they have the right approach to the games, you know. I don't think everything is about the money. Like if the highest paid AFL player just gets paid a little over $1 million, if that, then what do you say about people signing contracts here in basketball, NFL, you know, friggin' baseball? It almost seems like the more you get paid, the more that sport sucks, man, you know, and like NHL, those people, they get paid better than AFL or NRL, but they're way less than any other professional league here in the United States. So, and they play the hardest, you know. So it almost, there's almost like, you know, how do you say it in English, a pattern, you know. The more you get paid, the more drama that league will have or whatnot. Baseball, a little less, I would say, but still, but like basketball and NFL, it's just a shit show, you know, as far what's going on behind the scenes, you know. That guy makes a play, you know, like a guy fucking quarterback throws the ball, the guy catches 10 yards from where the ball was thrown, the guy acts up like he has accomplished something, you know. It's just fucking dumb, man. Anyways, Gold Coast Titans. Yeah, let's do the size check. I started rumbling a little too much. Hat fits absolutely perfect. Great sizing. Hat is made in China, polyester. That's hat number 3. But yeah, I just love those sports, you know, the NRL and AFL, you know. It is what it is. I've discovered for myself something so good, you know, and I hope that I love this sport, both of them, till end of my days, you know. And I highly suggest you to just check it out and see for yourself. Next hat I did not have in 7 1/8. I had to go a size up to 7 1/4. This one is Queensland Cowboys. They're a decent team. And here's the hat. Same gray under, black guts. Crown itself is like, again, because of these lights, I almost believe that it's like a dark navy. It doesn't look black. Queensland Cowboys. So let's do the size check on this one. I mean, this is gonna fit for sure. I cannot curve this one because otherwise it's gonna be like a friggin' bucket sitting on my head, you know. But to wear it flat, this is as far as I can go, you know. But yeah, love this hat. That's hat number 4. And then the last one from NRL is this Newcastle Knights hat. 718, again, plain Jane. Look at this logo. Cool one, isn't it? So blue crown, gray under, black guts. Newcastle Knights of National Rugby League. And yeah, you guys got to understand, rugby, union rugby, like a rugby, when the first thing comes in your head is like somebody says, oh, it's a rugby game. So that is 95% of the times that people going to talk about the rugby union. It's a different sport, you know. It's very similar, but at the same time it's different. National Rugby League has different rules. It's more like NFL, but at the same time, it's completely different. Newcastle Knights, let's check it out. The sizing fits great, looks great. I like the shade of blue. I like it. Good hat. Newcastle Knights. So I have now officially filled all my gaps as far as the NRL goes. So Cowboys, Titans, Sea Eagles, Dragons, and Knights. And now, should I rank them? Sure. I like this one the best. The first place, the Dragons. Second place, the Knights. Third place, Sea Eagles. Fourth place, the Cowboys. And the fifth place, the Titans. Now let's jump over to the other league, the AFL, and these 3 hats were my last ones to cover all the teams. So yeah, that collection now is complete as well, and these 2 leagues are the only league I'm gonna buy as many hats as possible moving forward, as long as they come up with the new ones, because I really care about the sport. And the hat I was missing, and which is again a plain Jane hat, was made in China, polyester. And one team I was missing the hat from was GWS Giants. It's Great Western Sydney Giants. Good team. Some people predict them maybe to go to grand finals this year. I call this team by a nickname, you know. I gave it to them, the Gatorade Boys, you know, because their friggin' logo looks like Gatorade logo, and they really, when they're running around, they look like they're wearing like a Gatorade freaking bottle on them, like the Gatorade logo. A gray hat, nothing special. This gray is actually kind of, kind of the shade and everything. Like I really don't like it, Like I'm not a fan of the gray hats at all. But I had to get it for the collection. I wish hat would be this hat would have a different color, or at least it would be a two-tone to break up that gray color, Luckily it has like a high contrast orange stitching on it with their main logo G, and it spells out Giants. So yeah, black guts, everything else is gray, nothing fancy. GWS Giants, Great Western Sydney Giants. And here comes the size check. Fits great, looks great, but like I said, the color, I don't like the color. They have a cool jersey now, the black one's black with orange. I mean, I need to get that jersey. If this hat would be black with this orange accents, accent color, it would be so much better. Hat number 1 from AFL, Australian Football League. Between the two sports, which league I like better? AFL is what I like better. But I mean, they're close. Both of them are really, really close. Man, I love both of them. Next one is 100% wool hat, and I can feel it by the fabric, that it's wool. Hats made in Bangladesh, and this one is Port Adelaide Power. Last year they almost made it to grand finals, but they just got kicked out in kind of like a semis. This year, some predict that they're gonna suck. Not suck, but they're not gonna make it as far as they did last year. We'll see. So we got this PA, the shield, nothing fancy. Teal new air flag, black under, black guts. But this is a wool hat. All the other hats, they are polyester. Size check. Looks good. Port Adelaide Power, or how they call Port. Hat number 2 from AFL. And the very last hat I didn't have, and this one is gonna complete my AFL collection. I literally have every single fitted hat for each of 18 AFL teams, is this one. West Coast Eagles. Back in the day, there used to be the powerhouse. Now they are more of a bottom feeders, They're probably gonna finish like anywhere between the last place and up to like maybe 16th place, but more likely like 17th. And they do have a Harley Reid. It's gonna be his second year. He's a good rookie player from the last season, and yeah, I mean, they ended up last year. They ended up in 16th place, but they do not predict them to do super well this season. Most likely 17th place. 18th is kind of reserved, so to speak, and how they call the wooden spoon for Richmond Tigers, because that team is super young, and they just don't have the experience. But yeah, this is West Coast Eagles. from Perth, Western Australia. And let's see, oh, this one is a wool hat as well. Made in China. That's weird. Let me see about that Gatorade Boys hat. This one feels like polyester. Yeah, this one, so this one is polyester. Then Port Adelaide, that was the wool hat, but this one doesn't even feel like a wool hat. It feels more like a polyester. Well, let's try it on. Good looking hat. And I'm glad I am done with AFL and NRL hats, you know, for that league. Now it's just upgrading, and that's that. And trying to find that Dolphins hat, Dolphins fitted hat from NRL. And then the very last one, which is nothing to do with both sports, but they have an annual event in Melbourne every year. Every January, I believe, is when Australian Open tennis match are happening, tournament is happening. And when I was ordering some of these hats, actually, you know, I ordered my AFL hat, and somehow I forgot that Port Adelaide hat. And I had to go back, and to get the free shipping, I had to spend a little more money, you know, and so I opted buying the Australian Open 940 hat. And so here it is, it's like a strap back. And this is the logo of Australian Open. So I thought that adding this to the collection would be kind of cool. Super raised AO. And yeah, it looks great. It's a great A-frame. Strap back A-frame. Let's try this one on. It looks good. I like the A-frame hats, you know, like 940s A-frames, and if I can have like 950 A-frame, those hats are super cool. I like the curved brim, how it comes with, you know, and I have no problems wearing the A-frames. But like those dad hats or whatnot, man, I can't stand those ones. Those are not that great, you know. I have a couple, you know, in one of these shows I'll show you what I got. But one was a gift, and the other one I deliberately bought it so I can wear around the house working in the yard and still wrapping my favorite team's logo on it, right? So sometimes it makes sense, you know, but I wouldn't be afraid of messing that hat up, you know. A-frame, that's like a class above, class better. Yeah, so Australian Open A-frame. And yeah, what else do we need to do? Rank these three. Probably super easy. West Coast Eagles #1. Port Adelaide #2. And then this gray GWS Giants #3. Okay, guys, so that's gonna do it for today. Great way to kick off the NFL and NRL season, showing you some hats from that league. Also, this Australian Open from tennis Grand Prix. That being said, Lost Latvian wishing you all the best. great health. Enjoy the springtime here in the United States and in the Northern Hemisphere. My friends down in Australia, enjoy the footy. Little cooler weather is on the way. Winter's coming. For us, summer is coming. So yeah, it's just the cycle of the life. Take care, my friends, and I'll see you next weekend. Peace out. Bye.